Welcome back to the GTN Show, and you'll be glad to see, I am at least, that it's not just me in the set this week.
Yeah, I'm very sorry to have left you last week, Fraser, but you did a fantastic job on your own. If you do follow us on social media, you'll probably notice that Heather and myself were across in Lanzarote. We've got loads of great videos to come going into Christmas and beyond. In particular, we got quite an exciting, rather cheeky cyclist versus runner race.
Yeah, Mark has been telling me a little bit about this, so I'm certainly looking forward to seeing that video coming out. On top of that, we will actually be heading out of the set to discuss the concept of fasted training.
And we've also got some rather exciting news about Roger Federer. And you may be wondering, why on earth I'm chatting about a tennis player now? Well, all will be unveiled later.
Yeah, and we're also going to be discussing pro cyclists who go running and who was the fastest, but not whether they were fasted or not, although maybe they were. Anyway, we're also going to be discussing lots of rather fast times from the pro triathletes out there racing this weekend. Okay, now a subject that we have been quizzed on time and time again, it's fair to say, is the notion of fasted training. Now, in other words, when we go and train before we've fueled ourselves up with carbohydrate. And the best example, I guess, is in the mornings training prior to having our breakfast. Now, traditional research would state that as endurance athletes in general, we really rely upon having carbohydrates to be able to train effectively. But there are a number of newer studies out there now that are suggesting that there is a lot to be said about this fasted type of training.
Yeah, and well, it's something we've used quite a bit in the past in our own training. The idea being that by using this fasted training, we can improve our body's ability to use fat as a fuel during exercise, and therefore kind of saving that muscle glycogen for when the intensity really kicks on. So it does mean that we need to be able to tap into both. So it doesn't mean just purely doing fasted training. We need to have a mix in our training. So what we tended to do in the past is actually using some shorter, easier sessions like an easy run in the morning, and we do that fasted, but then also for those bigger key sessions, we do that carbohydrate fueled.
Yeah, and I guess this is something that we've both loosely used or been advised upon certainly over the years, but it turns out there are a number of other further benefits too.
Yeah, and now a study actually conveniently just down the road at the University of Bath, conducted by Rob Edinburgh and Javi Gonzalez, has done just this, and they have shown that there's some, well, really quite evident health benefits to it too.
Right, so we're lucky to have Javier right here with us in Bath to discuss the findings of his most recent study with us. So thanks for coming along.
Thanks for the invite.
Not at all.
We've known for a number of years that the type of food we eat, the total amount and the timing of that during a race can really influence performance on that day. But what's become increasingly clear over the last few years is that by timing our food in and around our training sessions, we can also enhance some of the adaptations to training that in the long term can also influence our performance. And along those lines, we've been studying whether exercising before or after breakfast, or in other words, in an overnight fasted state, can help achieve greater benefits from exercise, the exercise.
So just some other general health benefits aside from just the potential burning of extra fat?
Yeah, well, the thing we're interested in is essentially how the muscle adapts to exercise, and the implications of that have both performance effects but also health effects, and that's over and above just fat burning.
Yes.
So yeah, we've known for a long time that if you exercise in an overnight fasted state or before breakfast, you'll burn quite a lot more fat than if you'd had a high carbohydrate breakfast before that exercise. But in addition to that fat burning, it seems like we get a number of other benefits as well that may improve our performance and may also improve our health.
And what would those health benefits, what would be a quick summary of those be?
Yeah, in our latest study we found that even though these two groups of people did exactly the same amount of exercise and the same intensity, by doing it before breakfast, not only did they burn more fat, but their muscle actually produced more proteins involved in glucose transport. So in other words, they're better able to take sugar out of the bloodstream and into muscle, and improved insulin sensitivity, so reduced risk of diabetes.
Well, that's a really hot topic at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Right then, I guess I better go and start doing some more training before breakfast.
Right, now that has been fascinating to hear their opinions on this subject, and I guess we'd like to know your opinion. Is this something, fasted training, that you have done? Simple yes or no to this week's poll, and you can click on the link somewhere up there above Mark's head to let us know what you think.
Yeah, and also do get involved in the comment section down below to let us know why you do it, if you do, what your experience has been, how often you do it, and so on. But now for last week's poll, Fraser asked you whether you think Ali Brownlee will qualify for Tokyo 2020 Olympics.
Yeah, now I guess the answer, the results to this answer has been fairly clear cut, and I'm not surprised, to be honest, because he has won 2 Olympic gold medals already, so he knows what he's doing. So yes, 78% of you said yes, we think he is going to qualify, and 22% of you say no. I will add that I do think that him managing to do this time is going to be significantly harder than in the previous.
Yeah, he's definitely got his work cut out. It's, well, the GB team alone is quite a tough field to
exactly
battle against.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a fascinating few months to see what sort of rolls out towards the Olympics.
Okay, at the beginning of the show, I alluded to the 20-time Grand Slam tennis champion, Roger Federer, and some link with triathlon. Now, I don't, unfortunately, have any news of him entering into a triathlon, although that would be rather exciting. Maybe that is to come. Maybe we'll see
lots of other good Swiss athletes doing well already in triathlon.
But what I do have news of is that he has bought a rather large stake in the Swiss running manufacturer On, who does have quite a big presence within triathlon.
Now, he isn't willing to disclose quite how much money he has invested in the company, but we've got a quote here which we both found quite interesting, because Roger Federer said, "It's a chunk of money big enough that I had to think carefully about it," which would suggest that he's really going into this with some, real interest in wanting to make a real difference in this, fairly new running brand.
Yeah, and whilst I guess he's not going to have some formal role at On, what the company have said though is that they are hoping to release a shoe in the next year that Federer and On have worked on, which, well, I don't know, is it going to be a tennis shoe? Is it going to be a run shoe?
Who knows?
Very exciting to see.
So now we're going to take things back to triathlon, we promise, but actually it's with some disappointing news of one of the stars of the ITU series this year. Non Stanford from the UK has unfortunately had to undergo knee surgery, which is not ideal when you're in the year before the Olympic Games. She apparently was suffering some knee pain towards the end of this season, had it looked at, had some rest, and then has just recently had some cartilage removed from her knee to hopefully fix that up going into the 2020 season. She expects to miss the start of the WTS season, but certainly hopes to be able to finish that right through to the grand final in Canada in August.
Yeah, well, I hope she makes a speedy recovery. Moving on now it's a well-known fact that pro cyclists need to and want to take some time off the bike over the winter. I mean, they do spend a heck of a long time in the saddle during the season, but it does appear that some of them quite like to keep the fitness going, so they use alternative methods. So some of them like some of them like to head out for a run instead. Now, we've been having a bit of fun here at GTN, scrolling through some of their Strava profiles, and we've come across some of the pro peloton that like to run over the off-season.
There's a few of them.
Yeah, so first up we've got Greg van Avermaet, and he's head out for a nice little 10k run, running at 6:11 per kilometre.
It's not bad at all.
No, it's all right. Pretty nice, steady running. And then we've got Alexander Kristoff. He's running like a 8k at 5:06 per kilometre.
Yeah, it's trucking along.
Yeah, I mean, these are pretty powerful guys. But it gets more exciting. We're ramping up here. So we've got Owen Dole. He did just shy of 5k and 4:58 per kilometre. Now we're moving on to Thibaut Pinot, and he's pushing on now. Almost 12k at 4:29 per kilometre pace. Now, these guys are practically runners.
Yeah, I don't think I want to go for a run with him.
Trumping it all though, we got Michael Valgren here, and he's done a 10k run, 4:21 per kilometre. Did it in 44 minutes.
Yeah, he's a silent closet runner.
Yeah, maybe we'll get him over to triathlon soon, eh?
Now, moving on from last week's discussion of feats of endurance, where I talked about a double-decker Ironman. Still trying to wrap my head around that one, if I'm honest. Well, we've got another feat of endurance for you this week, because there is A cape-to-cape cycling record, which I'll be honest with you, I didn't even know it existed, but it has just been broken. It is going from the very tip of Norway to the very southernmost point of Africa, and Jonas Stiechmann from Germany has just shattered that record, taking it from 102 days down to 72.
Yeah, he set out on the 8th of September from North Cape in Norway, as Fraser said, and then obviously starting off in the Arctic, moving down through Russia on some of the motorways into the Middle East, which you can imagine will be a bit of a logistical nightmare, and then about halfway through you enter into Africa.
Only halfway through.
I know, yeah. This is all unsupported, just to put this into some perspective. So he's got to carry all this gear with him, and if you think you're starting off in the Arctic, in pretty cold weather gear, and then you're trying to get off into Africa, and it's going to start the temperature's going to be racking up quite a lot there. So yeah, trying to be prepared for all that is quite some feat. And yeah, as you say, he broke that record quite substantially. So chapeau, yeah, hats off to you. That's really impressive.
Wonder how many punctures.
Well, now for our weekly update from Heather, who is racking up and earning more and more drops on Zwift. She has been busy doing a couple of workouts for us. She's just done a run workout, but now we're going to catch up with her doing a bike workout.
Okay, apologies, it's not pretty. It was a rather sweaty workout, but as I mentioned, got my run done last night, and 12 hours later, got my second bike workout done. So I'm now 2 and 2 into the academy. But problem being, as the boys already mentioned, I am about to take a bit of a break and I'm going away for 2 weeks. So today's session was really good actually. It's been my favourite Zwift session so far. It was the half distance workout, so working just below FTP for most of it. It was just an hour. I'm still on the warm down, but I really enjoyed that, and I think it might be time to actually retest my FTP. Don't want to, but that felt quite comfortable, so I did actually up it a little bit. So yeah, pretty good after that one. Although now I'm going on holiday for 2 weeks and I'm going to be doing some mountain biking. So it'll be interesting to see if any fitness stays with me when I get back, and I might actually be hoping to lower my FTP, but fingers crossed. I will be back with a report in a couple of weeks' time, so have fun on the show, guys, and I'll see you soon. Ciao!
Now, some of you might remember that a couple of weeks ago I unboxed some very swish new Assos cycling clothes. Now, that was the brand new Equipe range that they have just put out on the market, and we have now got the names of 2 very lucky winners who have got that complete set of 4 items, 1 set for each of them. So, drum roll. We have got Andrew Yi Fung and Eric Parker, so very well done to you.
Yeah, well, talking about clothing, there is still time also to take advantage of our Black Friday offer. Now, we've got 25% off our Pro Team and Pro Training gear that Heather, myself, Fraser, we all wear, as well as some of our casuals and accessories. Now, it is all selling quite fast, so if you want some, get on over to our shop quickly. That offer is going to be running till the 4th of December, maybe even an opportunity to start your Christmas shopping.
Right, now moving on to race news, and luckily this week there are some races for us to talk about. And first up is Ironman Cozumel, which doubled as the Latin American Championships, which meant that there was a strong field in place. On the men's side of things, there was some incredibly fast racing, with the top 6 men all dipping under the 8-hour barrier, largely due to the fact that there's always a very fast current assisted swim in Cozumel and the fact that the bike ride is completely flat. But nonetheless, there was also some extremely fast running times too, and none other than Tyler Butterfield, who took the win, produced an incredible run time, starting some 9 minutes down but ending up taking the lead by the 15-mile marker and never looking back. He went on to run a 2:38 to take the win in 7 hours 44 minutes, which is incredibly fast. Second place to Michael Weiss from Austria, and third, Mario Delais from Argentina.
Well, over on the women's side, it was Carrie Lester that had a very convincing wire-to-wire win. In fact, this is her 3rd Ironman win of the season, having won Ironman Nice, Mont Tremblant, and even a top 10 finish. In fact, it was 8th place at Kona this year. But she won this one in a time of 8 hours and 38 minutes. Second place went to Maya Stage Nielsen, and third place went to Michelle Vesterby. And then on to Ironman Arizona. Now this was a women's only pro race, having had Ironman Florida just a couple of weeks before, which was a male pro only race. Now this is an absolutely stacked field on the women's side. We had Sarah Crowley taking the win. Second place went to Heather Jackson, and then third place to Meredith Kessler.
Yeah, now there was also some 70.3 racing happening at the weekend, and Ironman 70.3 Western Australia was won by Max Newman. Second place went to Alexander Pozzi, and third place to Levi Maxwell.
Yeah, and on the women's, it was Hannah Wells that took the win, Grace Tech that took second place, and Rebecca Clark in third.
Now moving over to Asia, we had one of the most long-standing triathlons on the circuit, and that was the Laguna Phuket Triathlon, which is a slightly odd distance, but between an Olympic distance and a half Ironman. 1.8k swim, 50k bike, and a 12k run. Always looks fantastic, the pictures that come out from this race. Wish I'd always managed to do that one. The women's race was won by Switzerland, Imogen Simmons. Second place went to Emma Pallant from Great Britain, and third was Australia's Dimity Lee Duke.
Yeah, and on the women's side, it was Rudy Wild that took the win, Michael Rayler in second, and then Christoph Hadas in third. And we also had Otelo Malta this weekend, swim run race. This was just under 40 kilometers in total, 31 kilometers of which was running, 8.7-ish kilometers of it was swimming.
Isn't it?
Yeah, so that was broken up over 13 different swims. Now, the men's win went to Team Head Gravelines Tri, women's went to Team Arc Swim Run, and then the mixed win went to Team Envol. Well, now for us to take a look through all your photos that you've been sending in to us. We've got a pain cave to kick off. This one's sent in by Callum from Camberley in Surrey, and his rather nice log cabin.
I was admittedly thinking I was opening up a picture from somewhere in the Alps or Scandinavia maybe, but no, here in the UK.
Yeah, I was hoping we'd see some skis hanging up, maybe some lederhosen, maybe a bar or something behind. But he said he's got a Cervelo S3, a Trek Madon SL6, and as you can see in the picture, they've got their Giant on the turbo trainer there.
Also, yeah, got foam rollers in the corner, got some weights, dumbbells, loads of medals up on the wall. A very nice towel. I wasn't sure initially what that was, whether it was a funny sort of poster material, but actually it's the towels, I'm fairly certain.
But also, they said once they're finished their workout, they can walk out and jump into their hot tub.
I told you, Scandinavia.
Really cool. Moving on, Robert sent in his from, well, he hasn't given a location other than home. So he said, following the recent show where UK pain caves were requested for a show, I submitted my garage setup, and a very nice one too. So.
I like this as well, yeah, there's a lot going on in that garage. There's lots of storage, lots of bikes up there. We got, the washing machine in the corner.
Well, that's efficient, very good time use. You finish your session, take your clothes or chuck it straight in the washing machine.
Well, I can see the fairy liquid up in the top corner, which for us here in the UK that's the washing powder.
Also, another person, so they've got a sauna in their garden.
Oh, these lucky people, my word. I mean, if you're not getting hot enough doing your turbo training session.
Oh, he does say later on, I live in Whitstable in Kent, so the sea is also about 200 metres from their front door. This sounds like the ideal training location.
Can we come and do training?
Yeah, maybe we need to. The next one, this is a great photo, this is sent in by Chris, and this is actually from Richmond Park. This is another UK-based one. So this is his Ribble Ultra Tri-Bike, similar to that of Adam Bowden that we featured earlier this year. A really nice bike, actually.
It looks, I mean, I haven't seen it up close and personal, but be intrigued to do so. I mean, there's a lot of fast riders on the Ribble bikes on the track scene as well. Yeah,
no, absolutely lovely bike.
I will say, I actually said to Mark, I have run in Richmond Park, not too many times to be fair, but I was blown away that this is a park with all the deer grazing in the background, need us not forget, and it's bang smack in the middle of London.
Yeah.
You can see a whole herd of deer here behind the bike, which I guess is why I stopped to take the picture. So thank you, Chris.
Yeah, brilliant. So next one, not from the UK this time, this has come from Hong Kong. This is actually on Victoria Peak. This is sent in by Rob with his Scott Plasma, and this is fully tricked out. Yeah, I mean, both look incredible. The bike and the view, let us not forget. I mean, I thought the one from Richmond Park was my winner, but actually I'm torn. This looks incredible. Yeah, it does. So he's got the, well, fairly new drag to zero bars on there. We've seen the likes of Joe Skipper using, which almost look like you're in like the cockpit of an airplane or something. Yeah, really cool. The 3D printed, I think it is a storage box that goes behind the bottle, but the main reason actually is to basically improve the airflow from the bottle area. So, and an incredible set of wheels on there, some Zip 808. So that is a
very fast bit kit.
Yeah, please do keep sending in all your photos. You can use the photo uploader, link on screen right now, but you can also find that in the description just below.
Right now it's time of the show for our caption competition, and as ever you guys have outdone us with some pretty witty snippets to go with our picture, which was last week I grabbed one from Muncie 70.3, which was last summer, or this summer should I say, and I just thought that the dinosaur looked quite good. I mean, who sees a dinosaur when they're running along in middle of a 70.3? So NCB was first on the mark with humans spotted during this year's Triassic Triathlon.
Very good. Len Whitrock said, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling dinosaur. Is the finish close?
Yeah, that's clever. I like what you've done there. Savage Poet came back with T-Rex at T2. Where are you? I've been waiting for ages.
But the winner is Kevin McClendon, and said, my coach may be an old dinosaur, but he knows what it takes to survive. Very good. You are the Caption Comp winner. Get in touch, we'll ping out a cap to you ASAP. But for this week's Caption Comp photo, this one actually comes from Malta, from the Otolo race out there. Now, just to give you a bit of an idea of what this photo is all about, the Popeye show that many of you have hopefully seen used to be filmed out in Malta, and they still have that village there. So this race actually comes down the cliffs into this village, and here is Popeye himself.
Is that really what Popeye did?
I think so.
I just thought he just got really sort of big muscles. I mean.
So anyway, the guys are high-fiving as they go through, so drop your captions in the comment section below.
Well, that takes us to the end of yet another GTN show, so hopefully you've enjoyed it, but we've got some more really good videos coming up this week for you to look forward to. Roadside mechanicals, if that's something you have an issue with. We've got a swim tips video with David McNamee from Ironman Hawaii, and we have got run tips for beginners.
Yeah, and don't forget about our offers that are running at the GTN shop for Black Friday. Get on over there fast before they run out. 25% off a lot of our cycling kit, which is really good stuff. If you have enjoyed today's video, hit that thumbs up button. If you'd like to see more from GTN, you can click on the globe and subscribe to the channel. We've actually just recently had a video coming out about the benefits of off-road running and why you should maybe include it into your own training. So you can see that by clicking just down here.
Yeah, and if you want to see a video in the pool that's all about drills for improving your freestyle swimming kick, you can find that here.